There's a bunch of TikTok geezers who wander around New York City and they ask people what they do and how they got to the city. And it got me thinking, it got me retracing my steps. Like, why did I move to New York City? And would I recommend people move there? I moved there when I was 23 years old. I lived there for about 6 years, I think it was. And yeah, now I'm living back in the States. I live down in the South. I live in Atlanta now. I went back recently for my birthday last month as a tourist. So it was weird to kind of go back and re-experience the city I used to live in as a tourist. And I think that if I retrace my steps, I moved to New York for just completely stupid reason in that I didn't really know much about it. I just the cultural artifacts, Home Alone 2 and fucking Mean Streets, things from my childhood or adolescence where it was like, yeah, that seems cool. I want to be a part of that. And so I think the thing that I realized pretty much as soon as I got there is that the New York that you want to live in doesn't exist anymore. And you'll realize pretty much as soon as you get there. And so I think that was I moved to New York like 10 years ago, over 10 years ago. And so the internet was nowhere near what it is like today in terms of just actual boots on the ground reporting of what life is like there. And you can do so much research now and get actually good quality information about what a place is going to be like before you go there. In bygone eras, that wasn't the case. So I think it was easier to kind of like make incorrect appraisals of new places before you move there, which I definitely did. But I still think you will today, even if you did a ton of fucking research about New York City, where you want to live, what you want to do, what you can expect from the city. New York City is a place that moves so rapidly um, that by the time you get there, your idea of it is going to be outdated, and so that's one thing I think you have to accept. Secondly, I think that yeah, you it's a strange place because it obviously attracts all these people who are coming from somewhere else, and they're generally like a big fish in a small pond. And I think it really fucks with people because you are never going to conquer New York City. Like these people have conquered their small town wherever they came from or whatever other city. And then they get to New York and then they realize, well, if you're smart, you realize that you're not going to conquer it. I think there's a lot of delusional people there as well. But um, yeah, you quickly realize you're not going to conquer it and you have to reset your expectations. But if someone asked me, should I move to New York City? I'd say if you're young and ballsy, you definitely should, because it'll kick you and it will fuck with you. But in your, I couldn't think of a better place that I'd want to be in my 20s than New York City. And when I recently did this trip for my birthday, I got to hang out with some friends. They now live up in the Catskills mountain in a cabin. They spend most of the time there and only a little bit of time in the city. And I think we all kind of realize that you kind of get a little bit of PTSD from living in the city, and that's why people eventually leave. But you do look back on it fondly, almost like a fucking Vietnam vet would look back on a tour of duty where it was like some of the most harrowing, difficult experiences in your life, but also just a fucking amazing adventure. And I think that that is the another issue is that when you're there and you start sensing that it's time to leave, it's you the city has you've got what you need out of it and it's time to move on somewhere else. And yeah, you kind of realize, yeah, you can come back as a tourist. And I love being a fucking tourist again. It was just like you can cherry pick all the best parts of New York without having to deal with all the shit aspects that come with living there. But you realize when it's time to leave that, at least for me, I had a severe case of Stockholm syndrome where I was like, I was looking at all these little old ladies on the Upper East Side, these fucking miserable old hags bent over, fucking, they've been crushed by the city, but they just have kind of this grit and determination, and they're absolutely miserable. And they would have had a way better quality of life if they'd called it a day 50 years ago. But I was looking at them and thinking, yeah, that's a real fucking winner. That's what you should do. You should never leave this fucking place. So that would be my word of warning, is that if you're young and ballsy, you should move to New York and you should let it change you and shape you. But it's really fucking difficult to leave, and you will your perspective on what's important in life, and what's an acceptable quality of life will change, and you may never leave if you go there, because New York City is a place that will kind of warp your perspective for the rest of your life. So there you go.